Okay, welcome to Outback Tasmania. We're up near the back of the block where I've got this very steep block of land that has not been utilised or used apart from putting the house down the bottom here. And all this land, there's the house, fence line, it's, I don't know, I'll have to find the exact land measurements, but none of this has ever been used for anything, like except for just a yard for a dog maybe. But it is absolutely, like, look at the slope on the fence line there. There is neighbour's shed and the neighbour's house is over there. There's another neighbour behind the back fence there. But with the goings on of 2020, that motivated us to move to this lovely location and to buy some land to grow some vegetables. Yeah, the goings on of 2020 inspired us to get out of the rat race where we were, find a big block of land somewhere in a cooler climate, natural beauty everywhere, like with the coastlines and the beaches and everything that's in between. So when we were purchasing, we wanted land, we wanted space, we wanted to be able to grow a veggie patch, we wanted to be a little bit self-sufficient. This was back in 2020 when the all that stuff was going on with the pandemic and all the craziness in the world. Well, we finally found a place with a beautiful view, really in the heart of a city. You can probably hear the traffic in the background. Plenty of space and land. Because the land is so steep, no one's been able to use it. So since we've been here, I've got a little garden down the bottom. I've been growing some small vegetables. So we started with the first garden I was growing down the bottom. It was going pretty good. I had a lot of peas and beans growing, and I had some capsicums and some lettuce, just the standard little things that you grow, tomatoes obviously. And then one night we woke up and everything was gone. It was eaten by a local bunch of wallabies. They're called paddy melons. They've obviously got in via the fence line and the fence line down there, and they found a new buffet of food and they devoured it in one night, and I was so disappointed and disheartened. I've sort of only grown on a table down there, so because I can't get up on that table if you fill it up. That one's tried, and I've learnt, if you fill up the table, if you leave a platform, they will jump on it. But I've got a little greenhouse for seed starters and a little table down there and a potting station. I've been just tinkering around. Well, now with all this chaos of this oil stuff going on in Iran and the USA, of course, the prices of fuel to go up, food's going up. You can't go to the grocery shop and buy a trolley full of stuff. You're spending like $200 to $300, and you're going back for top-ups during the week. I want to fight the wallabies, keep them out. They can play in the land over here, and this side there's probably 50 or so living on that side of the fence line down in this property. This is a huge property over here. Lovely people. They love the wallabies, how they cut the grass for them. But I want to grow food. I've been inspired by a few YouTube channels. The latest one I've been watching is Off-Grid Atlantis, and a couple of people from Yorkshire who've been van lifers and are now growing on their land in in an island which I'm not sure the name of, but it's in the middle of the Atlantic, and it's owned by the Portuguese government, so it's part of Portugal. Anyway, they've inspired me to grow. So I've planted a whole bunch. I'm going to do a lot more planting. I'm going to turn these lower levels into different areas of garden and pathways and seating areas, because let me tell you, once I show you further down, once I get past the tree canopy from right up the back, and let me tell you, I want to get a tree climber up here and start delimbing and bring these down to a manageable level. I just want to keep them trimmed. One for the neighbours behind us. We've taken their view with these trees. They've never had a view of the water. But think of all this firewood up there. But I want to rebush it up. I want to get that down and use this as the food forest, like the actual canopy, or get it down lower. Massive pine tree across there as well. But that one there, this wattle obviously has fallen over, as I've shown you, and we've had this blackberry right over here. It covered this whole area. It grew from there, it's just in there, and it shot up over this side, and we've had it basically from there right across. This whole area here was just, you could not get it here. This is where the wallabies were hanging out, because they had canopy, they had thorny coverage from dogs, or little Charlie scares them a bit. Yeah, so if you stick around with me, you're going to see how I'm going to turn the top part of the property here, and it's pretty reasonably level just here, just in this section. I'll turn this into an area, whether it's a picnic area, seating area, a viewing area. It's going to be a nice area under the canopy for the hot summers. There'll be a staircase to get up here, but let me show you further down. As we're coming down from the corner of our property, like there is a level. We'll make a little retaining wall. This is going to be called I don't know. Let's figure out some names for the king of the mountain for up the top here. Could be called Everest. The Everest viewing platform. There we go with the beach from up here. Fantastic view. And as you can see, this wattle tree here, it's got one main branch leaning this way, and it's sort of pulling that canopy that way. So that tree will eventually go, and it should fall into an open area. Have a go at this tree here. So I try to crawl up the hill. Look at the slope on that one. That sort of bends around. There's a bit of tension on that one. That will eventually go on that back fence there somehow. It's going to reach that for sure. But that will fall. That'll be probably the next big storm. But if we, just say we cut it there and let it bush out, you know, and then I can manage it with a brush cutter over the years. I won't let it grow. But, look at all this land. It's just gone to waste. Got a local ambulance station nearby and a fire station nearby. So as we're walking, walking down the hill slowly. So in the past, somebody has tried to build a retaining feature there with some old railway sleepers that are like 80-year-old, I'm told. And yeah, so picture this area here flat, and maybe a couple of these branches there gone, trimmed back. More of a view that way. But if you're sitting here, like, let me show you what it looks like through the eye. So as I'm looking at that surf club there, that restaurant, that's what it looks like with me just looking. Whoop. It's a little bit bigger than that actually. That's what it looks like now. I'm looking at the blue shade at the playground at the beach. That's what it actually looks like to me right here, right now. So picture this nice little seating area. Oh, if I can control my camera. You got the port. You've got shipping. I think that one there is getting wood chips. That's a wood chip pile. And the amount of years we've been here, this tree's grown up about. So far, we've lost all that view. That section there, that's tree from this area, and that tree's only getting bigger. But yeah, all these areas. So I've got to learn what can grow good here. Since the wallabies are out and the rain has come, green grass has come back. This, I don't know if we got rabbits or what, but something, or is it the wallaby digging? But there you go. There's a burrow there. Obviously dug that out. Hopefully not a snake hole. I was actually talking to a snake catcher yesterday. Alright, so getting back to the story. Seating area up here. And those of you who watch my lives, that was the old camera I put up here for the view when I used to switch to the view. But anyway, I digress. That's on Radio Jonesy, or on tour with Radio Jonesy. If you haven't connected with them channels, please do. There'll be information down in the description. As I come across here, yeah. So as you can see, it's a bit of a drop there, but like rows. Someone, if you want to write in the comments what you suggest, like rows of vegetables, I'm thinking, and just go for it and just see what grows, what doesn't, what gets attacked, what doesn't. And underneath the pine here obviously is pretty dead for growth, and we've done a bit of pine pruning next door, and yeah, so there we go again. There's the slope, but like something here, seating area, you know, obviously steps and handrails to safely get up and get down on both sides of the yard. You know, flowers even in some sections, as these agapanthus show. They're pretty hardy. As you can see here, there was a tree here in the past off the fence line, which ain't there anymore. But yeah, so there's one spot, and as you sort of come down a bit, this area here is relatively flat, and then it sort of goes to there, then drops again to another flat areas. So, and this is capturing the sun when it's out. Morning sun gets shade now with this bloody monstrosity, and in the middle of the yard you'd get morning sun. But anyway, I digress. I got to work with what I got. So if we go across here, this is relatively flat again, pretty comfortable, and then it drops over and down to the original garden bed, which was right there, that area there. But yeah, this is the outback Tasmania, alright. And there are some dodgy looking grass steps someone's eked out over time as I come down. So there's that little section, and as you can tell, we were up there. Oh Oh, so here was the original garden bed. It's fertile. Stuff grows. The latest garden bed is there. I got spring onions, and I got all my seedlings in pots over here and in that greenhouse. But I'm going to do some beans and peas just down here. Sacrifice them, they grow quick and fast. So, and then we worry about the fence. And like, there's an old railway sleeper that was used for a retaining wall. And then you can tell they're railway sleepers by this clip. Oh, just rolled it over. Yeah, by the clip there. And here's another one actually just across there. So about 80 years ago someone's tried to make a retaining wall here. I think I'm going to be inspired by that person and do something similar. Build this up, dig out a bit and bring it in to fill in. And there's this patch. There'll be a garden here, garden there, be walkways, walkway across there. Another, it's more of a slope than it looks, but that's another relatively flat area. Down to the fire pit area. Oh. And like I said, this is an old property. Here's the firewood collection. It's pretty ragged, Woolian fire pit. There's my compost bins and my fancy old one. I've just transferred it from there into the bin over there, the big 240 litre ones. So yeah, so tell me what you think. Gonna grow from here. Different garden beds, vegetables. Who knows? Tell me in the comments, what do you think? Am I crazy? Am I taking on too much? For the house is actually 93 years old. So for all this amount of time, for nothing to be really physically done here, seems to be a waste. Let me try to fix that. So I've put this in 4 years ago. This used to be where the clothesline was, which is now there. Maybe the clothesline can come out. I'll have to work out that with the lovely Mrs. Radio. Obviously we got old bits of chairs and bits of pieces I've got to get rid of. I got my crates here, which is a mobile wall that was stopping wallabies coming in that way, making them go up the back. And yeah, all my good plants down here have been basically taken out here. They're just starting, this one here is starting to come back. Another one next to it's not coming back. Little one up there is coming back. And then I've got the African daisies down the front there, which the wallabies hate. So I've discovered that. And don't forget the beautiful, fantastic jacaranda. Also, on that last video, we seen those bricks downstairs. These were taken out of the fireplace inside when we got it renovated. There used to be a brick company in Burnie called the Burnie Brick Corporation Company, or the Burnie Brick Co. But anyway, the tradie who took them out said, "Man, you've got Burnie bricks, keep them." He said they're scarce, very scarce. So I've got them all over the yard. We took out a few, got some down there where we've got another thing I can talk about in another video. There we go. Outback Tasmania, welcome to the channel. And let's reboot this, get me motivated to grow food over our winter season, because we're coming into winter. I'm going to kick it off now, get it all ready, and by springtime, boy, we're going to be all guns a-blazing. Okay, see you on the next video. Ciao.